audience will include the 2014 National Championship team. The current team, the parents, our athletic support staff, the men's lacrosse alumni, trustees, and Limestone guests. Limestone's been fortunate enough to have a tremendous success on the lacrosse field. It all started with great players and great people that have come through the program. I'd now like to take a moment to recognize on the 25th anniversary our Limestone lacrosse alumni. Please stand so we can give you a hand. Please stand, Limestone lacrosse alumni.
You look great, Greg.
That program held over 50 All-Americans, 3 national championships, numerous all-conference titles, national rankings, and 15 straight NCAA appearances. It's a proud group that is very proud of this year's tournament team and what they've accomplished in the national championship. Now I'd like to introduce a gentleman to represent the alumni tonight. His special message for this year's national championship team. It's my honor to introduce John Nagara, a two-time national champion alum from Limestone, a great friend of the program, known to a lot of us as Johnny Cobb. Let's give him a hand.
And again, welcome to the 2014 ring ceremony as we honor our national champions. Special thanks to Limestone College for hosting this wonderful event and weekend as we celebrate achievements both on and off the field. I can't begin to tell you what an absolute privilege it is to speak on behalf of the alumni family. And at this time, I'd like to ask the members of the 1990 team, the first team in program history, if you could please stand. Couple guys out there. Guys, look around. This is what you started. You made history then, now, and forever. Congratulations. We also have another special guest in attendance, United States Marine Nicholas DeLonga. Would you please stand and be recognized? You are an All-American, a national champion, and now an American hero. We're honored to have you here with us tonight and to have called you a teammate. Thanks for protecting our great nation. Coach Marino, you started this with a vision, a plan, and just minor goals, and in time created an environment that's filled with tradition, leadership, and winning. Congratulations on building Limestone Lacrosse into an elite program. Like many here tonight, Limestone Lacrosse holds a special place in our hearts. Not just for victories won and titles, but for the relationships, brotherhood formed during our time. It's a program that stands for passion, hard work, and above all, togetherness. These were the traits that embodied the 2002 National Championship team. With all due respect to my teammates in attendance tonight, I don't think this was our most talented group. But what separated us from other Limestone teams and other D2 programs was our effort and leadership from our captains. We were led by first-year head coach T.W. Johnson, who was able to step on campus day one and get 60 guys to buy into his system. His system was, it doesn't matter who scores, as long as Limestone scores. I was attending a game in 2005. Players took the field with brand new helmets, brand new uniforms, and I remember speaking to a parent about how far the program has come and since the success we're having. He looked at me and said, "All this success is from what you and your teammates have accomplished over the years." And I remember thinking to myself, that's not true. This success stems from Coach Chris Fennessy and his countless hours of recruiting, bringing talent to Limestone College, not just to field a team to compete, but to field a national championship contender year in, year out. Ben, I'm extremely confident speaking for a lot of guys in this room tonight when saying we love you. Thanks for showing us the door to Limestone College. To the 2014 players and coaches, tonight is a special night for your friends, your family, and your alumni base. But tonight is your night, and we can't thank you enough for making it happen. Congratulations on joining an exclusive company. Best of luck this season. Together on three. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Thanks and God bless.
Thank you, John. Students know me differently, but those of you who aren't students often know me by welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Limestone College Sports. I'll say that word 3 more times just this weekend. I'm doing 80 to 100 a year now and having the time of my life, and I'm just very honored to be here. I'll be your MC tonight, and the most important thing right now is that we need to eat. So I'd like to welcome up for the invocation a Limestone National Championship lacrosse player, Stephen Christofides.
He's right, we need to eat, but boys, I know you have salad in front of you. We're actually getting bag lunches. We'll be here soon. Father God, Lord, thank you very much for this evening, God. Lord, this was an incredible season, full of ups and downs, and at times when we thought it couldn't get any worse, it actually went according to your plan. And the truth is, it wouldn't have been any better. There's a reason every bus broke down. There's a reason those lights blew up on us that night. There's a reason hotels weren't ready. But Lord, it didn't matter. In the end, just came out on top, Father. And we thank you very much for that. And we thank you for our fantastic coaches, everybody who's helping, our best fans, Brenda and CR, been there for every game. Thank you for our head coach, Coach Clark, an incredible man who has to maintain a family and take on a very hard position because he has a lot of pressure on him. Thank you for our defensive coordinator, Coach Kennedy, and for our offensive coordinator, Coach Story. We also thank you for a man who was not able to join us this year, but for my past 3 years, he was always there helping out the goalies, Coach Malone. God, we thank you very much for every one of our players, Lord. I remember one year, Spencer Wim said to us, we're a bunch of lost boys. I mean, we have players that come from another continent, but we make our way to Limestone and we make it work. And it's the truth. And we made it here finally. And it's something that we had drilled in our brains ever since we first got here. And we always talked about a ring, and it's something we always wanted. But it's so much more than a piece of jewelry. It's the memories that go into it. It's something we'll be able to have for the remainder of time here on earth. All those mornings waking up, it was great. And we were very thankful for a strength conditioning coach who shows no mercy. And we ask you please bless his food, use it for the strength of our body. And let us remember that the journey doesn't stop here. As players come and go, Lord, everybody still has a role, including the alumni, most of our players who are still here, Father. We ask you just to give them the endurance and continue to motivate them to realize what it's going to be like in the coming years, Father. Again, we thank you very much for this night. Please allow us to enjoy ourselves. In Christ's name, amen.
Two-time Elite 89.
as the Cavs. I'd also like to thank Dr. Griffin, the institution, Coach Serino and the athletic department, and Amber Anthony and everyone else who was involved in putting this all together. It's been amazing so far, and I know it's going to continue to be a great night. I'd also like to thank all the alumni that came out tonight. Seeing how many people are here. Seeing how many of the alumni are here really shows how close-knit this Limestone Saints family is. Without you guys, all this tradition, all the success that we've had over the last 25 years wouldn't have been possible. So I'd like to just have another round of applause for all the alumni that came out tonight. I couldn't really ask for a better experience coming to Limestone, really. Words can't really explain how it feels to win a national championship. It just kind of leaves you speechless after the game with all the emotions. Just running through your body, it's just the best feeling you'll ever have in your life. Also, it makes all the ETS workouts, all the running with Coach Lamb, and making fun of me every day because of the way I run, it makes it all worth it. And just looking forward, I can't wait to watch the first season of men's lacrosse as an alumni now that I've graduated. And I'd just like to thank you all again for coming out tonight. Team together.
Next up, we've got something very simple, a video of the national championship season.
It's just amazing that I'm sitting in Gaffney, South Carolina with a national championship and lacrosse all around us. You know, it's a very unlikely place for lacrosse to flourish as it has.
You know, we'd already beaten Tampa, we'd beaten Seton Hill, so we knew we could beat them. So you're like, okay, we just get us there, anything can happen if you get there. We kept getting better, and we talked about it, how we kept getting better, and defense was stout.
We really tried to develop the players and the leadership and the skill level and the team camaraderie. We did a lot of things to work on the team camaraderie and caring for each other and picking each other up when you're down.
That's how we treated everything, you know, just go out and play hard, work harder than them, and do what you do, and you know, good things will happen.
Just in everything we do, we're trying to make sure that we're working harder than every other team in the country.
I think we got better every day, which is a real reason why we're able to kind of make that strong finish. Because if you saw us in the beginning of the year, we were a totally different team by the end.
Whenever we have conditioning, running, or anything, he always says, run 5 yards fast. Because you can get to the finish line, and your opponents can surpass you.
Lemoyne's running 100 yards, we're going to run 105. If Dallon's doing 5 reps, we're going to do 6. So it's just kind of the thing that sets us up for success, where we're going to want to be better than every other team around.
It was awesome. It was even better because we won. We had great fans there, you know, we had a ton of people there supporting us.
Instead of us like, we have to win, we have to do this, we were like, let's go out and play lacrosse, have some fun. And we took that energy and we just put it toward approaching that game.
I didn't hoist it or hold it after, you know, I just hugged all the guys. It's pretty surreal to walk in there and see it, because, you know, being here for so long, you know, walking in and
The Mercyhurst loss 2 years ago now affected our guys more than I knew it did. And I learned that only after our win over Post in the national championship, and hearing the guys being interviewed and talking about just how much that loss affected them and how much it motivated them to do even better.
That Mercyhurst loss honestly was sitting over me. I would think about it all the time until we actually won the championship. To be able to finally say, it's like we came over that curse or that hump that we've been facing the last 3 years where we come up just short. We actually won, and I was holding the trophy. I kind of couldn't believe it, but it kind of put to rest those other feelings, just to know that after you've come up short 3 years, that my last year playing, we were finally able to win.
I don't think we ever lost our underdog mentality. I'm not sure this program in 25 years has ever kind of lost it. I think we still play with that chip on our shoulder. And I don't think the successes kind of knock that chip off every year. I think there's always something to prove. I think we get players who feel like they have something to prove, regionally and nationally. And I think that edge kind of keeps us moving forward.
Next up is a coach that has participated in the national championship game at 2 different division levels and been in the tournament at the quarterfinal level in all 3. Conference Carolina's 2014 Coach of the Year, and the most impressive number in all, 67-7 in 4 seasons. Coach J.D. Clark.
Again, I get to follow a great video, so it's hard to do. I just could edit it to that. You got to listen to me for a few minutes. I remember taking a public speaking class. Some of you guys may remember, and they told you have to stand in front of a big group. You try to picture everybody out there as being naked. It's not pretty. Scott Warren did a great job with the video. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank him for that. A lot of hours went into that. Obviously, that's something that I'll cherish forever. What a night. Look at the room. Limestone College puts 300 people in a room for a dinner of this magnitude. It's really quite special. And started a long time ago, but this is really, really amazing. Amber Anthony is the one to really thank. The countless meetings, her decision, well, her thought really to come over here and take this off campus. And what an evening, and we really need to thank Amber Anthony for putting this. I think it was a year ago, we have a Breakfast of Champions every year. Fortunately, we've been to it my 4 years. But Randy Hines, who's one of our members of the Board of Trustees, spoke. And he had a very similar experience to the one I'm about to explain to you. That on the way over here, Lisa and I were driving, and I said to Lisa, I said, did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that we'd be driving to a national championship dinner together? She said, honey, I'm sorry, I love you, but you've never been in my wildest dreams. That was stolen, but I liked it. So. Very unlikely success story, really, at Limestone College. And, 3 national championships for a school. Someone was saying earlier when we won the first one in 2000, I think there were 450 students. The smallest college to ever win an NCAA championship in any sport. It's pretty remarkable that we're here. And it was really a very unlikely team to do so. We were ranked 9th in the preseason. I'm on that poll, I probably put us higher than that, meaning like 15th. But, you know, it helped motivate us. So we went from 9th to 1st. It's pretty unlikely. We had 0 preseason All-Americans. We ended up with 6 All-Americans. We went 19-1. 19-1. And 2014 national champions. It's really an unlikely story, an unlikely story. First, I have to thank my family. Obviously, it's hard being the family of a coach. Parents, I end up spending a lot more time with your kids than mine sometimes, especially in the spring. I love what I do, and I love the fact that my family supports me in what I do. I'm very lucky to get up every day and enjoy going to work and having a family that loves coming to watch us play and supports me as much as they do. Dr. Griffin, thank you for all you do for our program, for our school. I was getting ready to come down on my interview, and Coach Serino let me know that I was going to meet with Dr. Griffin. So I wanted to prepare for my meeting with Dr. Griffin. I figured it was going to be an interview, a lot of give and take. He wanted to ask me questions, I'd have to answer questions. So I researched Dr. Griffin. I found he was a history teacher. So, well, I was a history major. He's going to know that. He's going to ask me history questions. I studied and prepared. But in typical history professor fashion, I was in Dr. Griffin's office for about 15 minutes. And at the end of Dr. Griffin lecturing me for about 15 minutes, he said, well, I got to get you out of here now. Do you have any more questions? I hadn't asked any questions. I said, no, thank you, sir. It's time to go. The Board of Trustees at Limestone College, obviously, the backbone of everything that happens there. But what a support system. It's amazing that an institution understands as much as ours does how much athletics does for student athletes and how much it enhances the educational experience. I already had one come back and say how much easier it is that he has it going to work every Monday morning because he's used to getting up every Monday morning and going to our morning workouts, and how much easier it is for him to get work done early. And his buddies are coming in and that didn't play college athletics, and they really don't understand what an early morning work is. Coach Serino started the program in 1990. I did know Coach Serino back then. He's a lot older than I am, obviously. But we've been friends a long time, and I didn't really know until I was watching the video of the 2000 National Championship ring ceremony, and Coach Serino talked about the fact that his daughter Caitlin had just been born, and how special that was for him to win a national championship and have a baby at the same time, how hard it was. And I thought to myself, it was a good number of years later that he took his other baby, Limestone College Lacrosse, and he handed it to me, and I appreciate it. Sierra Horton and Brenda Watkins have been mentioned already. They are number 1 and number 2. You see them in their jerseys. They come to every game, every game, every game. And their faith in me started right away in my first game. I went to Lees McRae. Remember this stat? I went to Lees McRae. Josh Williams remembers this very well. Josh is the only player I've ever coached that took a shot and the head of the stick went in the goal and the ball did not. So we're at Lees McRae and it's terrible, just terrible. I think they might have gone up 3-1 in my first game. I'm not ready to panic, but I'm thinking I'm ready to panic. Anyway, we ended up pounding Lees McRae. But when I got home, Coach Serino wanted to make sure that I knew what kind of support that Brenda and CR had and how much faith they had in me, because he said it wasn't until about the end of the first quarter that they started calling him back in his office and saying, who did you hire? What are we doing? He's got to put this guy in and that guy in. So I thank you for all your faith and obvious support throughout the years. Adam Rance. Rancey. Adam is the only, after tonight, will be the only one to have 3 national championship rings in Limestone College. It's quite a run. So Adam's in charge of our players' health and well-being, and Kurt Lamb is in charge of trying to crush them. So it's kind of remarkable they're sitting together at the same table over there. We have a remarkable record of staying healthy, and that has a lot to do with Adam Rance and all the hours of the buses. And he reads a lot of books in those bus rides, but we couldn't do it without him. We're very appreciative of him. Thank you. Coach Lamb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Coach Lamb breaks them and Adam Rance fixes them. That's how I look at that part of the staff. But we work really hard to develop our players. And Kurt Lamb has more to do with developing our players than any of the coaches do, teaching them how to shoot or how to defend or anything else. Kurt Lamb is the guy that helps us stay healthy and be in better shape at the end of the year. But he also helps us with our attitude. And I can't tell you how valuable it is to have Coach Lamb. He's also, just so you know, and this will come into play in a minute, Coach Lamb is also in charge of our NCAA travel. It's starting to make sense now. My staff, anybody who's ever been around coaching at any level or even at athletics knows that it's not the head coach, it's the staff. I'm the one that stand up and make speeches with the staff. Brendan Story and Carol Kennedy, they're the ones that do the work behind the scenes. They do their best to make me look good, and they do one heck of a job with our players. Brendan Story was the first guy I hired when I got to Limestone. I had to go up to Syracuse, New York, and find him working for Cintas, and it was a great meeting. But it's been a remarkable. It's just been a remarkable hire for me. He cares so much about our guys. He cares about them as people. He cares about them as students. He cares about them as players, obviously. But we're so lucky to have Brendan, and I know our players feel the same way. So Carol Kennedy comes to us from Adelphi last year. Okay, nice Irish boy from Long Island. Right? And he's the 7th of 7 sons. I don't know if you guys knew that. That's why he's so skinny, because he never got to eat. That's why he doesn't say anything, because if he did, he would have gotten beat up by his brother. And he eats really fast, or else he wouldn't have had food. So what I didn't tell him on his interview was that he was going to have to work with a bunch of guys at the defensive end that all ended in vowels. Think about it. Carol Kennedy has to work with Starnino, Travato, Ponzio, and Papaglianti. And I think he did a heck of a job. Before every game, I'm fortunate enough not to ever have to witness this, but once I did have to, and it's scarred me for life. The team dances before our games. In the locker room. You can only imagine what it looks like, but I think I got is Tony here? Where's Tony? There he is, Tony. Tony's our new equipment man. He came on second half of last year, right? And we were so lucky to have him, and he came to Baltimore with us. But the only time in 4 years that I went back towards the locker room, a little bit too early, I guess, the music was still playing in the locker room. We're in the Ravens locker room. I think it's pretty cool. And I turn the corner of this music, and I see Tony's rear end dancing in the middle of the Ravens locker room. It's a sight I'll never forget. Talk about the alumni a little bit, but it's very important. I think that we're going to have to open our mouths as a group now. And Chris Wolf from the class of 2005 has a very special day. He turns 32 years old today. So Chris Campbell has offered to lead us in a happy birthday. Chris Campbell, lead us. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Okay, I won't ask you to sing again. So now you're naked and singing. This is horrible. So 25 years of Limestone Lacrosse, and we're celebrating a third national championship. It's really quite special. But here's what I want to say to the alumni. I believe that it really takes a village to raise children. I believe it takes a village to have a lacrosse program or an athletic program of any sport like this. And I think it's important to recognize as current players, new alumni, the personal development that you've made is largely in part because of the sacrifices and the personalities of the people that came before you. And we can't thank you enough for all the efforts and the sacrifices that you made to allow us to be standing here. And as much credit goes to you guys as anybody for the 2014 national champions. So thank you very much. Senior class, some of these numbers have already been mentioned, but the senior class in their 4 years was a record of 67-7, 4 Conference Carolina's regular season championships, 4 tournament championships, undefeated in conference play, 2 semifinals, played in the 2012 national championship game, and 2014 national champions. We do a lot of community service. These guys are working with Boys and Girls Club, they're tutoring, they're putting meals together for people who don't have any food in Belize, for instance. We're cleaning up churches and elementary schools. It's really a remarkable group, and they led us the whole way. There were 8 all-conference players, 2 Lacrosse Magazine All-Americans, Lex Magazine Player of the Year, 3 All-Americans, Conference Carolina's Defensive Player of the Year, Conference Carolina's All-Tourney Team, Scholar All-Americans, Academic All-District, 2 Conference Carolina's All-Academic Team, the Limestone College Male Athlete of the Year, Todd Nakasuji, 2 Elite 89 awards, and a Capital One Academic All-American. That's your senior class, and that's a pretty impressive run of numbers. A little bit about each guy. Glenn Travato. I wasn't here Glenn's first year, and but I did hear that Glenn showed up his first day and had a short stick and wanted to play midfield. Is it true? True? I was?
Yeah, he was.
I blocked it out of my mind, Glenn. I will say this about Glenn, and I'll regret this, I'm sure. Glenn was truly one of the most underrated players in all of Division II. Our national championship game plan was, Glenn, you cover him and we're not sliding. By the way, he's an All-American. And he did a heck of a job. I'm going to mention these 2 guys together because their story is very similar. Will Swank and Joe Rodalone. These are 2 guys that my staff and I had a conversation about very middle of December. I said, we better be ready to get Will Swank and Joe Rodalone on the field because these 2 guys have given us everything for 3 years, 3.5 years. And they haven't had their chance. But I think at some point they're going to be needed. And Will and Joe, their player development over 4 years was really remarkable. And all the way to the point where, unfortunately, Will hurt his foot in an early game. He was running on the first or second midfield. And Joe Rodalone scored the first goal in the national championship game. So those 2 guys, just a remarkable story. Michael Ponzio, one of those O's, Coach Kenny. He was one of the easier ones, wasn't he? Michael's one of the hardest workers I've ever coached. And Michael brought us something in 2012 that really helped us grow closer as a group. And I think it even helped us last year. And that was when his younger brother Tyler was sick. We were able to have Tyler come and be with us on a number of occasions, but most importantly the national championship and that weekend. And that was special. And Michael Ponzio and the Ponzios, we thank you for bringing Tyler with you. Michael, we appreciate all your efforts. And I'm happy to report that Tyler Ponzio has committed to Limestone College. Here's a true story. Last fall, we had 9 goalies. In January, we had 2 eligible goalies. So we put out the word and let everybody know that we need another goalie. And Dustin had played for us in previous years, and he'd stopped playing. He took the summer and worked in a real job and lost probably 75, 80 pounds. And came back and he said, Coach, I know you guys need another goalie, and I'm happy to do whatever I have to do if you'll let me come back. And then we're playing in the, I believe it was the senior game, and you know, we were beaten. I think we were playing Pfeiffer or something. We were beaten pretty good at the end, and I wanted to get Dustin in the game, senior day. And he looked at me and said, Coach, let Fido stay in because it's the first time his dad's seen him play. And that's Dustin Lyons. Brendan Shea is one of the most loyal people I've ever met. I don't think I want to know what they're saying. Brendan's a young man who practiced hard every day, and he brought something to practice every day that we desperately needed. And his loyalty to the program, to me as a coach. Brendan, unfortunately, didn't get to play as much as I know he wanted to, and I never, ever heard him complain. Never once he come in and say, why aren't I playing more? He just went to work every day and was a huge part of our championship. He brought his dad along with him. I think his dad was the first one to hug me after the national championship. I don't know how he got down there, Brendan, but it was special. Known as Suji, Todd Nakasuji. Great job tonight. That was awesome. He's probably one of the most decorated student athletes in Limestone history. And he'll tell you that he worked really hard, week in and week out, to make it happen. I think he's just really smart. Because I never saw him with a book. Great leader. We do some leadership training, and I spend some time with the seniors and try to help them understand what kind of leaders they are. And it's one of our first meetings we had. And, you know, Anthony says, Coach, I'm a lead by example guy. Okay, good, we got that. And Jamar, well, I'm a lead by example guy. Like, okay, we already got that, but 2's not bad. Josh Limbs, I'm a lead by example guy. Terrific, now we got 3 of those. And I look at Suji, I know he's never said anything in his life. So now I got 4 lead by example guys. So I try and encourage them, somebody's going to have to say something as a captain at some point. One day we're out on the field, we're having a not so good practice. I threatened to bring Coach Lamb back up to the field. That doesn't work. Usually that works. Didn't work this day. So I yelled at the captain and said, guys, somebody's got to say something. We got to get this thing rolling. About 5 minutes later, I hear down in the corner, come on, guys. Todd dug really deeply. The best thing about it is they all responded. Practice turned around like that. They never heard him talk. Jamar Pete. Jamar is starting in his first college football game tomorrow. Going into Jamar's senior year, Jamar's a lobbyist. So when Jamar wants something, he doesn't just come out and ask for it. He spends a good amount of time kind of planting the seed, and then he waters the seed. He kept lobbying all summer. He wanted to be a captain. He was going to lead us to do this, that, and everything else. And I listened to it, didn't I? I listened to it. We had some good conversations. The truth is that Jamar was right. Jamar told me last summer that exactly what was going to happen would happen, and it did. And Jamar had a vision. Jamar helped lead this team, and we're very proud of you, Jamar. Thank you. Josh Williams is the ETS guy. And it's a very, speaking of unlikely, Josh Williams being the ETS guy is very unlikely. But last spring, the team came back in less than ideal shape, and it wasn't the fall, Josh. Probably fall. And I wasn't too happy about it. Coach Lamb was mad at me, and when Coach Lamb gets mad at me, I get scared and I take it out on my team. It's big. So we did Monday morning workouts, and it wasn't pretty. It was rolling around in the mud and sledgehammers and carrying each other around and pushing sleds. And Josh was that guy that always had a smile on his face and always went as hard as he possibly could. And his attitude was, we're going to do it anyway. We might as well do it as hard as we can. We might as well try and have fun at it. And that really led us into our theme for the whole year. Josh was a terrific leader, and not only the ETS part of it, but just as a person leading this group to a national championship. Thanks, Josh. Anthony Starnino, another O coach. Your personality and his aren't very similar, and you guys did a great job together setting the tone for how we were going to play defense. And Anthony's one of the hardest players I've ever had. He's one of the most dominant defensemen that didn't get the recognition he needs, he deserves. But truly one of our great leaders, and one of the reasons that we were so good defensively. So Anthony, thank you. If I could just get the seniors to stand, give everybody a round of applause. You're getting there. Wake the guy up next to you, if you would. Talk about the rings. The Romans, in the ancient times, the Romans believed, because they didn't have much medical knowledge, that the ring finger actually had an artery that went directly to the heart. And that's why they put the important ring on the ring finger. That's why we have the ring finger. Early on, I was told by Coach Serino and then our ring guy, Rob Cass, that the ring needs to tell the story of the season. So I'm just going to run through it a little bit. It might tell the story of the season, but it can't tell the story of who this team was. And that's the important part of it. But on the ring, you'll see it, and we're going to put a picture up of here so you can see it when I'm done, and the guys get their rings. We're 19-1, so it's 19-1. 19 is the most wins by any national champion. 19 is the most wins by any Limestone College team. And it was a heck of a ride, I'll tell you that. The one was very significant. The loss to Lemoyne was really a turning point for us. I think we thought we were better than we were going into the game, and we kind of got hit in the head a little bit and didn't respond the way we wanted to. It turned us around. A lot of people have heard the story that, when on a tombstone there's your birth date and then the day that you die, and in between is the dash. And they say that the dates aren't the important thing, it's the dash in between. And for this team, I feel like the dash in between was when Coach Serino called me one night with a crazy idea to scrimmage the Charlotte Hounds. And in order to do that, what we had to do was play a really tough conference opponent on Saturday, get on the bus away, and then get on the bus, which is always a treat for us, get on the bus the next morning, go over to Charlotte, and play a professional lacrosse team. When I first brought it up to the coaches, it was absolutely not. When I first brought it up to any other coach in the department, absolutely not. There were two guys in the world who thought this was a terrific idea. My dear friend Mike Serino and myself. We get on the bus, they're bleary-eyed, they just won a big conference game the day before. We get over to Charlotte, they're still a little weary-eyed, and then they start to see these guys that have been watching on TV for years, warming up on the other side, and they say, no, he was serious. He's really going to do this. But we played with a remarkable amount of confidence. We played fast, we played hard. We got beat, but we played fast and we played hard. And to me, that was really the turning point for us. We played very confident, but never arrogant. And that, I think, is why we won a national championship. Team Together will be on the ring. Together, something goes back all the way to Coach Serino in 1990s and started that. And then the team, we felt like really as a team and together we could accomplish anything, and that came true. Limestone College is on there. Obviously, it's a very unlikely story. It's an unlikely place to win, and this was a really unlikely team to win it all. But somehow we found a way to do it. The championship logo is on there from Baltimore. Your memories are very often tied to locations. Your memories of this ring ceremony, in large part, are going to be tied to this hotel. The M&T Bank Stadium is an awesome place to win a national championship. It was great to take these guys back to Baltimore and have so many fans there. It was remarkable to see how many more people we had cheering for us than opposed to cheering for them. ETS. ETS stands for Embrace the Situation. We use a different word than situation. Really? Apologize for that. It's a military leadership term, and what we try to teach our guys is that no matter how bad it gets, you got to embrace it, and you need to fight through it. And it really led us to the championship. We had, in the fall, we had our locker room taken away. We had our practice field taken away. So we practiced on the field that wasn't full size. And then it snowed. So we had to go over to Spartanburg High School to play. Then we got on the bus. And we went to Florida without air conditioning. The great part of that was when we first got on the bus, the guy couldn't figure out how to turn the heat off. So it heated up the bus for the first 2 hours. Then we get the relay driver, and the relay driver can't figure out, he turned the heat off, but he couldn't figure out how to turn the air conditioning on. So that was a 10-hour trip in the heat. That happened to us 4 times. We finally get to play Florida Southern 55 seconds into the game on a Friday night, big crowd, big game, and the transformer blows up. It sounded like we were in Iran. It was unbelievable. Lights go out, so we don't play that game. Next weekend we got a bus to go to Seton Hill, which is in the hills of Pennsylvania, and we almost get to Charlotte before the bus breaks down. We got another bus, and we almost get to Seton Hill before that bus breaks down. So the bus driver tells me the next morning they got a new bus, and the second bus really wasn't broken, he just didn't know how to operate it properly. Then the bus broke down on the way to Leeds McCrae. And then we played Queens in the semifinals, and the game was delayed because of lightning. So we finally, Coach Lamb worked so hard to get us to Baltimore for the national championship, right? And I have 3 guys in a room with a king bed. Imagine that scene. And then we win the national championship, we go to the tailgate, put everybody back on the bus, and we're coming home. We're not staying in Baltimore. Coach Lamb calls. Hey, Coach, about that hotel. What's the matter, Kurt? I didn't send a rooming list. I don't think they know you're coming. So now I'm a national champion, and I don't have a place to put my team. So we stopped at McDonald's, right? Yeah. Tried to send half the team to McDonald's, half the team to Burger King. Half the team runs over to Burger King, they lock the doors. So now it's about 12:15 in the morning, the national champions have been relegated to McDonald's, and they really didn't want to feed us. It was awesome. So now you see, we have to thank Mrs. Lamb for all she does for us, because she keeps the coaching staff straight, and she's also in charge of transportation. You see the correlation now, Jamal? So Mrs. Lamb is in charge of transportation, and Coach Lamb is in charge of embrace the situation. You thought I broke all the buses down. It could have been Mrs. Lamb. Last thing about the rings, guys. These are not, when you get these, I think you're really going to like them, but they're not look at me rings. These are not rings I want you to walk around and say, hey, look at me. I want you to look at these as rings that bond you and keep you close to these 70 guys for the rest of your life. Not about me, but about what we did as a group of 70 people. I think it's really important that you embrace that. Message to the 2015 team, they've heard this already. The arrogance of success is to think that what we did yesterday is good enough for tomorrow. What we did yesterday was awesome. I want to do it again, and I hope you do too. In life, it's important to mourn the death of close relatives and friends. It's also very important to celebrate your successes so that you can move forward. And this is an awesome celebration. I want to do this and have a lot of fun with it, and then we can move forward. You have a responsibility as a champion. I told you that after the game. I ask you to lead as a champion, work like a champion, humble yourself like a champion. Most of all, serve others as a champion. Alumni, you taught us how to win one. We need help to learn how to do it again, Chris Campbell. So you can help us do that. During the interviews for the video, and I'm glad they didn't put on there, the man asked me, he said, so what was it like at the end of the game? How did you feel? I said, well, it was really cold and wet, because they just dumped ice on me before the Ice Bucket Challenge, I'll say. And I was really lonely, because you're the head coach, you stand there, and everybody goes running past you. And you're just standing there looking around like, I thought this was going to be fun. They're all running out there diving on top of each other. Cervantes said that the journey is better than the end. The journey is better than the end. And I'm not sure I believe that, because the end of that game was pretty cool. To watch these guys run out there, to see their faces in the pictures, to see them carrying the trophy around, to me, I think that was better than those buses. I think it was better than the journey to see you guys. Coach Serino, when he won the championships in the year 2000, had a poem that he read to his team. And after our game in Baltimore, I asked him to do it again, and he did. And I want to share that poem with you as a final thought. A championship is something different from an ordinary victory. You don't own a championship like you own a medal. A champion is something that you are. It's not part of a moment, but of a period. However old you become, whatever happens, wherever you are, even in the hour of your death, you will always have been a champion. Congratulations.
Are you sure you weren't a philosophy major? Should I tell you that they're actually proposing to change the bus limit from 500 miles to 600 miles for Division 3 or Division 2? You'll really love buses when we're all done with this. The next introduction is one that's extremely important because an athletic department can't work by itself. It has to work within the confines of an academic institution at the college level, and it works very successfully here because of who I'm about to introduce. I've been here 20 years, he's been here 22. It's not an accident he's a member of the Athletic Hall of Fame at Limestone College. He's been instrumental in the growth and success our president, Paul Griffin.
What a wonderful crowd. Good evening, all. I need to tell you a story that you haven't heard from JB. JB doesn't know the real reason that he's at Limestone College. Probably 15 years ago, Limestone College, and these were years when we won a couple national championships, we traveled north every year to play Washington College. We never did very well. The worst part of the trip, in addition to losing, was having to drive across that Bay Bridge with a big car when you're not accustomed to it. I almost went into cardiac arrest by the time I got to the Eastern Shore. I asked Coach Luna, I said, can't we get him to play over on the Western Shore? No, we have to go to Chestertown. Well, when Coach Serino moved up, gave up coaching lacrosse, JB was no longer at Washington College. And he came down to interview, and my thinking was this guy knows how to beat Limestone. If I don't hire him, some other Division II program might, and that wouldn't be good for Limestone College. So JB, that's really the reason that we hired you. You did so well on the Eastern Shore. On behalf of the college, I'd like to congratulate the 2014 National Championship team, not only on your victory, but for the great recognition you brought to Limestone. I've had the pleasure of being at Limestone for 22 of the 25 years that we've had men's lacrosse. It was an honor earlier tonight to visit with so many of you who played key roles in the growth of the lacrosse program. We're grateful for the wonderful support given to our lacrosse program by parents and friends and our Limestone alumni. I've been very fortunate to not only have the opportunity to attend the 2014 championship, but also the 2000 and 2002 championship games. Before the 2000 championship game, which is played at the University of Maryland at College Park, much of the lacrosse world gave Limestone very little respect, despite a 13-2 one-loss record. This was the first year that it was mandated that a team from the South had to participate in the national championship game. The lack of respect was reflected in a very famous, often quoted remark that appeared in the Spartanburg Herald-Journal. When the Limestone players ran onto the field, a CW Post fan stood up and yelled, "Go home, Limestone, you don't belong here." Well, we did go home, but it was after the game. We took the national championship trophy with us after a throw-in victory over Post. 2 years later, we were at the national championship at Rutgers in New Jersey. Again, the experts saw Limestone as the underdog. We were playing a New York Tech team that hadn't lost a game all season. But again, our team confounded the experts and took home the national championship trophy. Both of those national championships occurred along with significant developments at Limestone College. By 2000, our day program enrollment had passed 500. It had been about 250 when the lacrosse program started in 1989. The overall enrollment was about 1,500, counting off campus students. The college now had a balanced budget every year. The campus was renovated, beautified. Faculty credentials improved dramatically. New academic programs were added. In athletics, Limestone had become a member of a conference and added many new sports, including women's lacrosse. In fact, back then, 1 out of every 10 students on the Limestone campus played lacrosse. That is true today. 1 out of 10. If you take the men's roster of 75 or so, and the women have about 40, you have about 115. We have 1,180 students. So 1 out of 10 is involved with lacrosse. The championship of 2014 followed a similar pattern. It had been 12 years since we won the national championship. We'd been the bridesmaid numerous times, but never the bride. The 2014 team didn't get a lot of respect at the beginning of the season. But they had a wonderful season. They finished with only 1 loss to the Northern powerhouse, Lemoyne. And after dispatching Queens and Tampa in the regionals, Limestone got to Baltimore for the national championship. Again, it was Post, little different name. It was LIU Post now instead of CW Post, as had been in 2000. Post didn't have a very auspicious record, but when they got to the regionals, they had knocked off Lemoyne and Adelphi, 2 higher seeds, so they couldn't be taken lightly. But 2014 was the breakthrough year for Limestone, and a 3rd national championship was ours. Again, the great achievements on the lacrosse field were mirrored at the college. Day enrollment is now nearly 1,200 at Limestone. Overall enrollment is 3,500. We are the largest of the 20 regionally accredited private colleges in South Carolina and have been for 7 or 8 years. The budgets continue to be balanced. There have been 7 new buildings on campus in recent years. The campus continues to be beautified. In the athletic realm, we now have 25 intercollegiate sports, including football. We have a pep band and a marching band. Our lacrosse, soccer, and field hockey teams will now play their games on a $1 million turf field with lights. And they will enjoy a $4 million field house, state-of-the-art equipment, one of the best field houses probably anywhere in the United States, just opened about a month ago. And I hope you enjoy it very much. As Limestone is poised for greater growth in the future, we're extremely proud of the wonderful success of our men's lacrosse program during the last 25 years, and especially the achievements of this group of young men in 2014. Thank you all for coming tonight to honor this outstanding group. We're very proud of them, and we hope all of you players will always be as proud of Limestone College as we are of you.
Would the coaches come forward, please?
How should look?
Now comes the real fun part. Presentation.
They can do not open them. Do not open them. Because they're going to light up, so they don't want to get them all at once.
Oh, the light's in it.
The light's in it.
So the players need to line up in numerical order.
Just wait till tables. Wait till each table. Yo, spread it. Do not open.
Guys, don't open. Do not open.
First, number 1, Mike Messenger. Number 2, Vinny Ricci.
MVP!
Hey, guys.
Number 3,
Boys.
Mark Heat.
Do not open. Do not open them until they tell you.
Open it?
Don't.
Number 4,
Don't be smart.
Rob Chastain.
Robbie!
Number 5,
Okay, don't look at it.
or excuse me, 6, Josh Williams.
Huh? How much do the rings cost? I don't know.
Number 7,
You have to ask Coach Clark.
Number 8, Todd Nakasuchi. Number 9, Glenn Travata. Number 11, Reed Reinhold. Number 13, Kevin Reising. Number 14, John Laronga. Number 15, Kyle Bradley. Number 16, Joe Rodolone. Number 17, Colton Watkinson. Number 19, Anthony Quills. Number 20, Charlie Sheehan. Number 21, Dustin Lyons. Number 22, Brendan Smith. Number 25, Ryan Macheski. Number 26, Stephen Washbaugh. Number 27, Anthony Starnino. Number 28, Mike Ponzio. Number 29, Patrick Allen. Number 30, Stephen Christopoulos. Number 31, Scott Sindel. Number 32, Jordan Saunderson. Number 33, Blake Weir. Number 34, Patrick Sheridan. Number 35, Ryan Netbank. Number 36, Chris Watson. Number 37, Jacob Hess. Number 38, Will Swank. Number 40, Zach Missel. Number 41, Khalil Robinson. Number 42, Dale Cornetta. Number 43, Brendan Shea. Number 44, PJ White. Number 45, Peter Valenti. Number 46, Wayne Taylor. Number 47, John Lesnick. Number 48, Ryan Keenan. Number 49, Clay Farr. Number 51, Mark Vidala. Number 53, Jordan Smith. Number 54, Peter Papagliano. Number 55, Cole Akins. Number 56, Chris Dill. Number 58, Blake Ferry. Number 66, Billy Colmel. Number 67, Chris Clancy. The team manager, Thomas Morbacher. And now, coaches. First up, Brendan Story. Next, Carol Kennedy. Zach Cummings. And of course, head coach, J.D. Clark. Just a few more. Assistant Athletic Director for Sports Performance and Head Strength and Conditioning Coach, Greg Lamb. Adam Rand. Tony Eliano. And finally, President Walt Griffin. Now, players, you are invited to open your boxes.
What we got left?
Straight.